Welcome to the Forensic Cop Podcast.
Liverpool won, Newcastle won. So, same movie, same actors, same director.
Same goal at the end, same score. This was just, another game. And you know what? It's funny because we were talking at the beginning of the game, and when we scored the early goal, I know you got all excited and you're like, "Oh yeah, we're going to run away with this." And I'm like, "No, that's our only goal of the day, and we'll give another one up at the end." It's Groundhog Day, man. We're just running the same team out week after week and thinking something different's going to happen, and it doesn't. And it's just, honestly, I'm just tired of it. I'm legitimately just tired. Fabinho at the back again. I don't know how many times I can say that's the wrong move. I don't know. What do you think? How did he play?
He played like he's been playing a centre back for the past. So before Christmas, he was decent playing a centre back. Now he's very dodgy, and you can tell he's clearly a midfielder playing in the back. And whenever he plays, he hasn't had a good game as a centre back since the turn of the year. So I don't know why he keeps persisting with him, even though we're running out of defenders. But surely there must be other options, mostly because we need him in the middle.
Yeah, I think we were missing. So I think putting Fabinho at the back is like a double-edged sword that cuts you on both sides.
Right.
It hurts the midfield, which I think we saw clearly. There were a lot of giveaways. We, for the life of us, couldn't hold on to it. And that's what led to a lot of chances for them. And then at the same time on defense, not that he's a bad player, he doesn't have the instincts of a center back. And in all honesty, I was hoping against hope, because I knew it wouldn't happen, but I was hoping to see Davies. I really thought this was a chance to put him on. And frankly, I think he would have done better.
And this was the game to give him that opportunity to at least show if he has a role to play in the last 5 games, because Newcastle were more than happy to just hit us on the counter, but with Fabinho, they wouldn't have had as many opportunities as they did. And to be honest, I was actually quite impressed with them, because unlike other teams that sat back and defended with 11, when they attacked us, they attacked with purpose. So
they did. Give them credit. They definitely made it entertaining, and they definitely wanted to score. So that was refreshing. But to your point, not having Fabinho in the middle to break those up was a problem. And having Fabinho, and it's not even like he was, had no idea what was going on. He was just maybe, a yard or two away from where he should have been a lot of times, which led to more dangerous chances than they should have been.
And it must be extremely confusing and frustrating for him, because he spent all of the early season learning how to be a defender, and then he started sucking, and he was reverted back into midfield, and now he's having to learn it all over again. So I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair.
Yeah, we don't talk a lot about, rumors and stuff, because I don't believe most of them. And there's a rumor that, Barcelona or Real are looking at bringing him in. And not that I lend a lot of credence to it, but honestly, if I was him, I'd be like, I'll go anywhere where they tell me I'll play in the middle.
Exactly.
He's clearly unhappy at the back.
Right.
You can see it. He's also not stupid. So he's he sees his play, and he knows he's not as good as he should be. And he's looking at the midfield, and he's seeing what he would have done and how he could have contributed more. So honestly, he's looking like an unhappy player who's, doing what, the manager is asking him to do. But I don't think he's happy. I don't think he's performing great. And just it's a total mistake. I don't know how else to put it. And frankly, Davies, you know what? Play him one game and find out what he's worth.
Exactly.
It's
worst case you can take him off at halftime.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
You haven't lost anything.
And I don't think we owe him to play him half the season. But at least give the guy one game. Let him get on the field one time. And this would have been a chance. This would have been a legitimate chance. And I don't think he would have done that badly. This was not a team that was going to blow us away with pace. This was not a team that was, they were just going to be too smart for him. I think this would have been an ideal situation, and it's too bad we didn't take it.
And it wasn't just an ideal situation. It was our only option, pretty much, because we have no defenders at the club, and we bought him as a backup. So if we're not going to trust the backup, then why did we even spend even if he was free? Why do we have him on the bench, right? Why don't we just say, okay, we don't have defenders, so we're going to play Fabinho? But I don't know. I just don't understand, right? Because now it's causing us to spend time talking about him as an option when if he's not an option, don't even bring him into the conversation.
Don't dress him. Don't bring him to training. Send him home. Like, stop the charade.
Sell him. Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? I think it's the wrong move. I think there's something there. He's obviously not a horrible player. You know, no, I'm not.
He's a championship player, and I mean, I would take any championship defender right now because
I would take any championship defender over Fabinho. I'm not saying as a footballer he's a better footballer. I'm saying as a center back he's a better center back.
Yeah, and by all accounts, he's relatively highly rated. So it's not like he's one of the lower championship defenders. He was about to go to Celtic. I mean, granted, that's a Scottish league, but they play Champions League football every year, right? So if he's good enough for them, I would like to think he's more than good enough to be our fifth option off the bench.
Look, there's clearly talent in the guy. What I'll say is, and again, this is where I'm just beyond myself tired with this, is you either believe in center backs playing at center back, or, you know, just go and buy forwards that you think are good and put them in net. Like, this is a joke now. Like, honestly, Fabinho's not a central defender. He's proven it over and over. Our defensive prowess went up when Phillips went in there, right? Like, we looked solid with Phillips in there. Was it because he's the world's greatest defender, or was it because you had two center backs?
So we had two center backs.
Exactly. Like, you know, and again, Phillips is very good. I give him credit. He stays within himself. He knows what to do. And I would put money on the fact that Davies would be the same. He'd know his strengths. He'd know his weaknesses. He'd stay within himself. He'd play the game the right way.
Right.
Not to mention that I think on their goal, Fabinho's dive across was tipped the ball away from Alisson. But I mean, sure, why not? That's our season, right?
Yeah, the best thing about that goal was the way Firmino fell to the ground. I don't know if you saw that part.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think that was. I saw it a few days later, so I was able to laugh about it. But that was the only thing good about that goal.
I mean, at least he cares, right? That shows he cares.
That's the funny thing, because even Salah, when they scored the first one that was chalked off, he really looked upset, which is nice to see. But I'm wondering, where's that anger when you have an open net, when you have a one-on-one? Where's that care and anger at you to say, you know what, I need to finish this goal? So
everything's
just so lackadaisical.
So to that point, I think the most disappointing thing in the game, and maybe you can argue it is, the most disappointing thing is VAR gives you a blessing of, you know, pulling away their goal. And even though I'm a red and I wanted us to win, I mean, that's arm before body. I don't know what on earth that VAR call is, but okay, we got a reprieve. How on earth do you give up the goal? Like, as a team, we should be like, wow, we got lucky. Let's make it count. And it just wasn't there.
There's just no maturity. You know, there's no seasoned thought on the field to say, I mean, we've all watched these games before, right? There's less than a minute left. You know how to waste time, right? You know how to kill a game off, especially when you're at home. And I don't know, just the decisions they were making, the way they were clearing the ball, how they were clearing it, how they were not marking, or how they were allowing crosses to come in was just baffling. It really was.
I mean, you go with baffling. I'm just going to go with upsetting. I would have wanted to see a team that's, you know, throwing themselves into it for the last 5 minutes because they know, hey, you know what, VAR saved us. Let's not let it happen again. And they didn't care. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I'll even say it wasn't even about Newcastle scoring. This was about the Liverpool front three who've apparently co-opted Jota into believing that you don't need to score goals either. Like the line for me. So I mean, we got lots of stats. You know, Liverpool obviously owned most of the ball, had more than twice as many passes. You know, did great. You know, we're not going to lie. It was a lot of it was skewed our way. But frankly, the line that gets me is we had 22 shots and only 9 of them were on net. So that's not okay. Like, you need to hit the net for one. And 9 shots on net, you get 1 goal. I mean, I don't know. It's you look at other teams and they get, you know, look at Newcastle. 7 total shots, 4 on target, so more than half on target, and 1 goal. We're scoring 1 of 9. And they're scoring 1 of 4.
Those stats, so since we've watched the game, it's clear that it's not necessarily the return on shots versus on target. It's the selection of shots and the decision making, because half of those were shots that didn't need to be taken, where a pass was a better option, right? So when you're deciding to shoot, when you should just pass to the open man, of course you're going to miss because you're not in a position to shoot. You shouldn't be shooting from there. And that's the issue. And it's particularly with Mo Salah.
We'll have a difference of opinion on this. Liverpool has played games where they haven't gotten a shot until like the 80th minute, like a shot on until the 80th minute. I'm not opposed to us shooting more, and we need to shoot more. And I think the stats boys have done what I've done and told Klopp, this is a problem. We need to shoot more. So I think the shooting more is intentional. But to your point, when it's a low percentage shot, make sure you're hitting the net. Because anything can happen. And we've seen, like, think of the goal that was scored, a game or two ago, where Robertson took the shot, the goalie parried it off, and Salah got the header in. Right?
No, I know, but I'm not.
Brilliant shots. You need to get them on and try to make something happen.
But I'm not talking about those shots, right? So when's the last time you've seen us score a goal where, you know, we see Man City score these types of goals every single game, where a man has a shot, but he just last minute decides to pass to the other player that totally throws the defenders off, and then that player just blasts it right into the net. When's the last time we've seen anyone pass to anyone else in the box, except Firmino, when he passes when he should be shooting, right? So it's the decision making, as far as I'm concerned.
It's bad decision making, but the other one is, and I'll lay this straight on Klopp, is he brought in Curtis Jones, which I liked the move, but it was clear Curtis Jones came off with the instruction of, we need another goal, go get it. And his instruction should have been the same as what I texted you at the half, which was, we're not scoring again in this game. We need to protect this lead. And I don't know what it'll take. Like, again, I'm not the most brilliant man on the planet, but there are days you know you're not going to score. At the half, all the chances we had. At the half, did you actually think we were going to get another one?
No.
So then, again, when you know that,
but then I also know that we don't win 1-0 anymore. Right.
Well, you know what would have helped is if Klopp says, we're not taking any shots in the second half, we're going to hold the ball for 5 minutes at a time.
So why was Thiago taken off?
God, I don't know why.
Right. Like,
he was controlling very well. He was doing a great job.
Is he tired? What's the issue? I don't understand, because number one, he's one of the few with the maturity and the experience to know now's when we kill a game. You know, we look pretty passing to each other for a little bit, just to tell Newcastle, just end this game. You're not going to get a point. We'll go our separate ways. Good luck next week, right? But I don't know.
Well, it's because he had to keep Genie on to make sure that he gave the ball away at every chance and was doing everything wrong that he could. Like, honestly, I'm beyond myself. I don't even know what to say to it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Genie was there. I mean, he had lots of touches. He didn't really make much happen. I don't feel like he was breaking up lots and lots of plays. When he had the ball at his feet, he never felt dangerous. He wasn't intimidating the defense. He wasn't anything. He was there. Thiago, I felt, was much stronger.
I think this group of players that's remaining at Liverpool, aside from Thiago, because he wasn't with us last season, and I suppose you can say Jota as well, but the remaining ones have been used to, and they expect somebody to be on their back, whether it's a crowd, whether it's Henderson, whether it's Van Dijk. And without any of those three, you can see the malaise and the acceptance of mediocrity, where there's no way if a crowd is there, they will be allowed to do that, because all the hooming and hawing will spur them into action. And then Henderson screaming at them, Van Dijk giving them the eye, right? But
no, it's true. It's true.
Right? You know what I mean? Right. So you can tell that they're just, they don't know what to do.
That does do the kind of like male version of the eye roll.
Right, exactly. The stare of death.
Yeah, so, like you don't want to screw up and cost the goal when he's on.
Exactly. Right.
So I mean, I agree with you. It's
too bad that those three influences have been removed for us this season, or at least with Henderson towards the end of the season, because at least one of those three helps significantly. But without all those three, even Milner, I mean, he's the leader and everything else, but he doesn't have the same influence that he used to have, or maybe he never had.
But you know what I would say, if you were going to tell me a guy who has influence on the team, and you're going to think I'm crazy, but I don't think I am. Thiago.
Oh, Thiago.
Listen to the players speak about him. Listen to, if you ever hear like any interviewers, who's the most skillful guy? Who's the most this? Who's the most that? Every single player falls over themselves complimenting Thiago. I think he has much more of an aura about him for this team, and I think Klopp just doesn't see it.
Klopp is undermining it.
Klopp is undermining it. That's a good way to put it. If you play someone off it's not Thiago.
By not playing him in Madrid, by taking him off randomly, he's undermining the influence that he could have been having on this team. So what's remaining is just a bunch of nice guys who are just, they're all good guys. They're nice guys
who don't know how to go down, even when they're fouled. Sadio Mane, I don't know if he's like murdered a referee in his life or something. Like maybe he's murdered a whole busload of them. He's not getting any calls. And I genuinely feel bad for him. I feel like at some point he's going to get a bad red because he's going to blow. We don't know how to dive. We don't know the dark arts. We don't know how to waste time. We don't know how to eat up the clock to kill off a game. Like, I don't know. You're right. It's a bunch of nice guys who are running around and doing okay.
Because I remember about 4 games ago, I think was it the Tottenham game or the Wolves game was the turning point for Trent. But before then, when he was just prancing around the field as if he had no cares in the world. I mean, can you imagine Henderson allowing him to get away with that? Right? So, or the crowd, for instance. Imagine if he was doing that and he heard the crowd booing him or yelling at him. It'll impact him. It'll G him up.
Well,
right?
To be honest, I think the most damning thing for Trent is how much better and how much better he's played and how much harder he's tried since he got dropped from Team England.
Right. But that's my point, right? They all have it in them to step it up a gear, but Klopp is not able to get that out of them. And what used to is no longer there. Right?
Although, you know what I'll say? I think you actually had it right. I actually think Phillips is a big influence.
Phillips, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm thinking back to watching him play. When he started, okay, whatever. But especially since it's been him and Kabak, because he's the elder statesman, as it were, since Kabak is so young, he is very animated. He's very forceful in telling guys to move, telling guys to run, telling guys where they were wrong. He's been very strong in that, surprisingly, for a guy who's got all of 20 minutes under his belt. So I actually think his loss is, and he brings intensity.
He brings intensity, right? And even just as a player, just knowing you have this 6'3" defender just coming to head the ball out of town behind you, it raises your game, right? there's something that happens, and Klopp probably intentionally, he's accumulated a bunch of nice guys who just don't quite have the fire in them. But when they do have the fire, they can raise the games to incredible levels. And he can't find a way to raise their game because of all of the madness that's happened to us this season with VAR and everything else. Right? You can tell, and then especially what really killed it for us is the fact that VAR did us a favor and we still couldn't win. I mean, it's almost like somebody wrote a movie.
Yeah, like honestly, when you get a reprieve, you make the most of it.
In the last minute as well.
And the fact that we didn't. The other one, which is just driving me nuts, is and again, Salah is good, Mane is good. If these guys can't score on breakaways and on the chances they're getting, I mean, I don't know. It's and I've been saying it since last year. We're far too wasteful. We're winning, but we're very wasteful, and our forwards are not finishing.
Because they're not forwards, right? We've had this conversation already.
How do you not score on a breakaway? Like, I bet you Allison on a breakaway would score.
Because you think, they train for 5-6 hours a day. You would assume half of that is situations like that, right? Where it doesn't matter who's in net. You just pick your corner and it's a goal, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's something else. The chances either completely flubbed. It's shot wide when you totally had half the net, or it's you put it right at the goalie. It's uncanny. And sadly, in all honesty, this felt like this was Jota's first game where he matched our illustrious front three in being insanely wasteful. Because normally he would have put 1 or 2 or 3 of his chances away, and he couldn't, and that was the game. I mean, sadly, Salah and Mane wasting breakaways and chances is kind of par for the course at this point.
Yeah, with Mane, the one that he had where he was sent through on the keeper, and then he just, normally he would just take that first time with his left, but you can tell that he has some doubt in his head and he's overthinking it. So he took a touch and then shot it right into the goalie's arm.
No excuse. There's a sports psychologist or whatever that Liverpool hired. Go talk to him. I'm sorry. Like, at this point, man, I got no more time. You had a season to figure it out. This is go time. And frankly, this tie probably takes us out of the running for Champions League.
So the only reason I say we're out of the running is because of our form, not because we're 4 points behind fourth place. That's not much, because all those teams still need to play each other, right?
No, you know what? Even if we win out all our games, I don't think we make it.
So we have 54 points. If we get 15 points, then that'll end up 69. I think 69 makes it.
So I agree with you. I don't think we're winning out, but even if we do, we would need to make up. So if West Ham wins 4 games, they're guaranteed to go in. If Chelsea wins 3 games, they're guaranteed to go in. We need West Ham to lose 2 of 5, and we need Chelsea to lose 3 of 5. Chelsea's been looking good lately. West Ham is probably going to win at least 3, so we need to win out. I think we're done.
Chelsea's only 4 points behind us, right? So if they lose 2 games and we win all 5, then we're ahead of them.
No, Chelsea's 4 in front of us. Yeah.
No, that's what I said. Yeah.
Sorry, you're right. I had that math a little bit wrong. Chelsea would need to. I mean, Chelsea's look good. Look at their Champions League game. They look pretty good against. They
look great. It's a question of how stretched they'll be.
That's true.
Right? But I don't see them, because momentum is an amazing thing, right? So I don't see them playing is it the FA Cup final they're in? What's the other cup they're in? Is it FA Cup? I don't even know anymore.
It's Carabao.
No, sorry.
The Carabao Cup.
I was thinking of Leicester.
Yes.
Leicester's in the FA Cup. Oh, no, it is Chelsea. Yeah.
Leicester's 8 points ahead of us. 8 points? Yeah, Leicester's 8 points ahead of us. We're not catching them.
They're gone, because they won the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Chelsea's in the FA Cup, right? Or am I just making that up?
Yeah, you might just be making it up. I'll be honest. I don't even look up
No, they are
FA
because
Cup
they
and
beat
more,
Man
they mean
City.
nothing to me.
Yeah. So Chelsea's in the FA Cup final and they're in the Champions League. So in theory,
Yes.
they will be stretched. However, the adrenaline is enough to ensure that they make top four. There's no way you're playing Champions League semis and FA Cup final, and you're not going to give you all to make sure that you're back there next season.
Our
Right?
only hope is that they play Fulham next. Okay, whatever. But then they play Man City, Arsenal, and Leicester.
See, that's the thing, right? And if they make it to the final of the Champions League, then psychologically they might start thinking, well, if we win the Champions League, then we don't need to make top four. But regardless, we just need to win our 5 games, which we're not going to do anyway. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
in this past week, we should have been tied with them because we dropped 4 points.
Absolutely. No, there's no
reason.
Excuse for these last 2 ties. That's inexcusable, and that's the kind of stuff that tells you we're not a serious team this year. Whether it's the fans aren't on their back, whether it's Klopp's lost his magic, whatever it is, serious teams that are fighting to make Champions League don't drop 2 games in the last few minutes that easily. So, right. I don't think we're making it. I mean, man of the match, was there anyone that impressed you?
Alisson, again?
Yeah, Alisson was pretty big again, eh? He's earning his keep. I would have gone with Alisson or Thiago. I felt Thiago looked very dangerous. Even when he wasn't doing stuff, you could tell that Newcastle was very afraid. They were when they tried to attack him, he went around them, and then they backed off and they were just scared. And so I think he created a lot more. But again, I mean, I'm not sure I can pick him because Klopp pulled him off for reasons. So I guess I'll go with Alisson too. I think he did a good job, and I think he's the one that, got us close. And if Fabinho hadn't tipped the ball, I think Alisson might have actually gotten to it. So
our next game is against Man U. Do we try something different and risk embarrassment, or do we try to pick our best team, whatever that means?
Well, I mean, if we run Fabinho at the back again, we're going to lose, and that's it.
I don't think it will. I think that Nat Phillips is back in training, or full light training anyway.
But in all honesty, the fact that Phillips comes back is almost not comforting. I literally want to see if Phillips. I want Phillips not to be there to see if Klopp does it again. Like at this point, it's just bad.
There's no way he's playing Davies against Manchester United if he wasn't going to play him at Newcastle. Not that I agree with him, but I think there's zero possibility of that. He doesn't have the guts to do that.
Oh no, I think he didn't have the guts to play him against Newcastle or against Leeds.
Yeah,
I mean Leeds maybe they're an attacking team, but Newcastle, come on.
Yeah.
So I mean, I hope Phillips is back. If Phillips is back, Fabinho goes back to the middle. I honestly I don't know what you do. I would say. Again, I would run Tsimikas out there instead of Robertson. I think Robertson's tired. I also think doesn't Pogba come down Robertson's side?
No, Pogba's more kind of central. It's Rashford is usually on the left, right? On the right.
Well, I mean, honestly, I would prefer Tsimikas on the defensive side. I feel like Man U doesn't play a good structure, so we'll get a lot of chances.
We definitely need Fabinho in the middle against Manchester United. We need Fabinho in the middle because, to your point, they play with no structure and there's a lot of overlapping runs. Everyone's running out of position in the middle, and we can't allow them to do that, to draw us out of position.
Yeah, so I think Fabinho in the middle is important. I think we'll get chances by the simple virtue that Man U gives up chances. And I'd like to see us be solid defensively. Robertson, again, I thought he looked good, but he also looked tired. And the chance at the end, I mean, he lost the header, which I don't know. It is what it is. He's tired, maybe not. I don't know. But, all in all, I guess Alisson was my guy, but not a great game. And honestly, I'm not feeling good about Man U. Do you think we've got a chance on that one?
I don't know what to think anymore. I mean, we haven't lost an away game in a while, right? Since Leicester, I believe. So,
all right. So it's an away game. So maybe we have a chance.
I think it's a draw. It will be
We've
0-0.
now been reduced to Liverpool, the great Liverpool team, Klopp-led Liverpool EPL champions, have been reduced to it's an away game, so we might have a chance for a draw. As sad as that is, I actually agree with you. I can't see us scoring 2 or 3 goals. If we get one, it'll just be one, and I suspect we'll have to settle for another draw.
For more stories, analysis, and articles, go to theforensiccop.com website.